What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. Time to talk some football. It's your boy, right? Love him or hate him. It's the loudmouth of the South, SAJ. And I
Who would hate you?
Oh, there's a few. But we're actually going to talk about that because I found the perfect way to diffuse every situation now. And we'll explain that in a little bit when we actually talk about some highlights and stuff from the game. However, I believe tonight, I don't know if we've done this one or not. Did we do ponchos?
I think so.
Okay. Well, being that ponchos, all you have to do is raise the flag to get seconds. I'm raising the flag, and I'm coming to you live from Poncho Studios again tonight.
There you go. Hey, you know what? It's a good one, man. It's a classic. I think there's still one up in where's like North Texas or something. There's like one still remaining that still has the flag you can raise up to get those sopapillas you can fill with honey. They're delicious. But hey, I'm BD. Today I'm coming at you from the San Antonio Light Studios. Jason, I don't know how long you've been in San Antonio, but do you remember the San Antonio Light?
I'm sorry, I'm getting like a bunch of different. God dang it! Yeah,
that was
sorry.
Back in the 90s. That was the rival newspaper of the Express News. San Antonio used to have two newspapers.
Yes,
it was the Express News and the Light. So
yes, and absolutely loved the fact that we had two different newspapers. Man, it was awesome. So, sorry, I had to turn on the feed from Facebook so I could actually figure out what the hell I'm doing here.
It's all right. Take your time. We're not live or anything.
No, we're not. So
no, just people watch. Thousands of people watching us right now, and
or four.
Hey, you know what? There's probably like 1,000, like 250 people in each one of those houses, and they're all just watching one stream.
Look, this guy, man. Yeah. Maybe if you'd show up to a road game, like you'd have room to talk.
2.5 minutes in, he's already tired of your crap.
Yep, because that's what I do, man. That's what I do. But yeah, I definitely remember that. Yeah, I remember the San Antonio Light newspaper. I remember, in fact, I want to say when I was a young lad, I think I actually had a paper route for them.
Really?
Back when you could still do paper routes, yeah. It wasn't a huge paper route, but it was just right there off of Crestway. So it was where we lived, that neighborhood, and then the neighborhood across the street, and then one more over. But I would do all that like in the mornings before school. I was like 10, 11, no big deal. So
back when child labor was encouraged.
Yeah, when it was like a thing when you were supposed to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, good times, man. So
good time. So, obviously we had the game last weekend. Didn't turn out too well for us, but Jay, you and some of the crew from the what is it called now? The Bulls on Parade crew made it to the game.
Yeah, so
I wasn't able to go. It was my anniversary, and I didn't feel like getting stabbed for missing it. So
that's true. That's a good move. I don't know where this whole Bulls on Parade thing came from. I don't know if it's coming from our social media directors or not.
Yeah, it came. They've posted it a few times. So
yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but it's also not. It's not really an organic thing necessarily. Like, we didn't develop that. That isn't coming from us. That's coming from somewhere in the front offices somewhere. So it's kind of like,
you don't have to have a hand in developing everything. I don't know.
No. I'm not saying I need to. But what I am saying is that I like
it. Come up with it doesn't exist. All right.
What I'm saying is I like it when the front office doesn't develop it. When it comes from us fans, it makes it more meaningful. Like the Vamos Brahmas, the Horns Forward, that whole Toro Siempre thing, like that was front office that did not catch. I'm probably the only one that's still using that hashtag. But the Vamos Brahmas, that came from us. That came from the fan, not us specifically. I mean, we're a bunch of white guys. We're not going to say things like that. But it did come organically from the fan base, and that's what I think makes it so much more impactful, is the fact that it's the fans that are coming up with the names. It's the fans that are coming up with the chants. We started the Olay thing, right? And it's catching on. People are loving it. And it's not anything like, DJ, whatever his name is, Brody or whatever, playing Bulls on Parade, or, like, it's not, I mean, it's us doing it. It's not the organization.
I am glad they don't play that song during the games.
You and me both.
Like, I don't hate the song. I'm not a huge Rage Against the Machine fan, but I don't hate the song, but it's just it's too cliche, I guess.
Yeah.
So
no, I get you.
I'm just glad they don't play it.
I 100% agree. So as you guys notice, I'm sporting the new hat. This is directly from the Under Armour website, the new Under Armour line. They've got, one of these flex fit hats rather for pretty much each team, if I remember correctly. I don't think they're going to sell any Arlington ones, but they might. Who knows? But they're actually really not a bad hat at all, right? But it's a pretty decent hat. So
speaking of, dude, did you hear about that scam that's going on?
Well,
like, it's like an dude, it's so weird. I saw it. There's like a scam going on for Arlington. It's basically what they do is, like they'll take your money and they'll give you Arlington tickets.
Dude, that is a scam.
It's really messed up.
There's a bunch of men that come out and pretend to be football players, and then they lose 6 times in a row.
Yeah,
that's so brutal,
it's horrible.
man.
It's horrible, dude. I don't know how anybody fall for that crap.
I'm not taking that. Let's talk about the DC game. Okay.
Tell us about the trip, man. I know you were in the air last night, so you couldn't jump on Horns Forward to tell us about it.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
I'd like to hear kind of your experience.
Yeah, and I did. I was chatting in the comments.
Nobody's paying attention to you.
Yeah, so. that wasn't really being monitored very well by you guys last night, and so that's okay. You'll notice I'm wearing my sympathetic Rock the Rig bracelet this week because we're going to demolish the rig this week.
I got mine right here.
Yeah. I'll be putting mine up on the wall with the blood stains on it from this Sunday's victory.
After Sunday, there you go.
But so it was an incredible experience. If you guys have never been to DC, just the city alone is so worth it, man. There is so much history. There's so much, just everything going on. It's the seat of our country's government. It smells like corruption everywhere. Big surprise, right? But it was a great experience for the little bit of sightseeing that we did get to see. However, we did get to see Washington Nationals Park from the outside. It's a pretty nice facility for a baseball park, and Audi Field is phenomenal for a soccer field. Football field, it's a little different, right? And you'll see what I'm talking about when we show some of the pictures that our own 210 Bramasita took. But incredible experience. And here, let me share my screen so we can show everybody kind of what was going down, right? So right here, you can see there's a picture of us in the concourse. This is right as soon as we got in. No, actually, this was towards the end of the game. This is one of the players' moms. We got to see a lot of different, family members and stuff from the team, kind of like we did up in Memphis. But this is laid out just a little bit differently. Again, this concourse goes kind of around the whole field, and those are like upper deck seats that you see. If you look where Jorge is, directly behind him, past that wall, will be the outside. I want to say that's the southern. No, that's the northern part of the field, and that's where the beer snake is. You'll see a video of it here in a little bit. But again, we had a great time. We were actually treated quite well by all the fan base and everything. I thought there was going to be some issues, and there actually was not. The fans there were incredible. However, it is important to note that, Jorge was talking about it last night on the show, and I think it needs a little bit of clarification. The only problem we had was getting into Audi Field. Okay. So you see right there, Jorge has his flag. I have mine wrapped around me. We had them wrapped around us as capes, right? And so security did say, hey guys, no capes. Ironically, Defenders fans were coming in with real capes. And so we took our flags off and we're like, guys, these aren't capes, they're flags. We just had them wrapped around us, right? Like, because we're trying to get in. They were like, oh, I don't know. And then so they had to ask supervisor, but the supervisor was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Bring them in. Jackie did get harassed a little bit by her signs. But her step on snake flag came in through no problem. And then Jackie was given a hard time about her stadium bag that she had to actually put in a locker outside the stadium because it didn't meet Audi fields regulations. That's important. So for folks that do have a bag or a purse or something like that, even though it meets, standard stadium regulations, make sure that you're checking with your stadiums across the league and see what their specific standards are. For example, Alamo Dome, you could pretty much walk almost a suitcase in, no big deal. Audi Field, because her purse was a backpack, they have a very specific no backpack rule. And so it technically looked like a backpack, therefore it was considered a backpack, and so you couldn't bring it in, even though it met all the other criteria of a bag to bring into the stadium. So a little bit of a hard time with that. But once we got through security, we were perfectly fine, right? Brahma Babe did run into some issues with her stuff. We did have to transfer Touchdown Jesus from Jackie's bag into Brahma Babe's bag, and they let Touchdown Jesus through no problem. However, there were some personal items in Brahma Babe's purse that they gave her a very hard time about, and she'd have to talk about that. I don't want to be talking about her story. But anyways, so that's us there at the concourse. This is how close we were. Now, keep in mind, this is when we were standing in our actual seats. That's what's his name? The new kicker.
Come on, that's the stash right there. Put some respect on his name.
Like I said, that's the new kicker guy. Santoso.
Santoso.
Yeah. He's about 40, maybe 50 feet away from us at the most. And that's when we were in our third row seats. Because nobody showed up, we moved to the front, of course, because that's what we do. And this is a front row video of him. I don't know if we'll turn the audio on. That had some serious power to it. Here's another shot Jackie took of the players' benches and stuff. We got to talk to a couple of different players, primarily just the kickers, which would have been, our Aussie and Mustache Man. There, of course, was me for a second. And then I'm yelling at the team, but in a good way. I was encouraging them. You'll notice also in that video that Moose is over on the right-hand side. That's extremely important. So see right here where these staff members are? Moose Johnson was actually over here. And he came all the way over and shook every one of our hands and was like, I see you guys. I know you were at Memphis. I know you guys, went to Arlington. You mean to tell me that you came here to DC as well? And we're like, we're going to every single game, Moose. Like that's just what we're going to do. And he's like, I want to personally thank you guys. This is what fan bases are supposed to be doing. So keep up the good work. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then
that's pretty sweet. He waved to us when we were in Memphis, and we were kind of yelling to him when we were in Arlington. He didn't kind of acknowledge us over there. So for him to actually come up to you guys, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then there was something else I noticed about Moose. If you look at pictures, his right pinky is like a 30-degree bend from playing professional ball because it's been broken apparently so many times and not reset right. So when I went to shake his hand, I was like, "Oh God!" So it was a little bit scary.
You had a touchdown shot moment.
Yeah. So, that was pretty much was it. I don't know where all the other pictures went. Hang on. Let me see if I can bring up some more.
Well, there were a bunch of Jackie sent us a ton of them, but
yeah, I've got to find them though. I don't know where they all went.
So, we talk about the game. Obviously it was.
Here. Let me share this one. Okay. Because I want you guys to see this. We're talking about the beer snake, right? You guys have to see this video. Okay. It's up. Here we go. Keep watching in the background. That's the beer snake. 100% is a real thing. Okay, but notice how empty those stands are. Okay, and it only went up about 2/3 of the way. Now we talked about, you guys may have talked about attendance last night. I don't know, but
they said there was 14K people there. There's no way that was 14,000 people.
No, 100%.
Brian, we've talked about this all year long. They're, maybe they're probably going with tickets bought or given away or something like that. But
yeah,
there's no way these attendance numbers are correct.
I think the attendance numbers are coming from tickets distributed.
Yeah, they have to.
But it doesn't mean that those are tickets that are checked, because there was no way there was more than 10,000 people there. Now I will say I do like the way their stadium is laid out, because even though there was 10,000, it was getting pretty decent noise. Their 10,000 would be equivalent to probably our 10,000 noise level wise, and we're inside.
Yeah.
St. Louis's 10,000 would not have been that loud. I promise you that. Their 30,000 is probably closer to about our 15. Okay. So that's going to be important, because we're going to have to talk about that in a little bit. However, let's talk about that game. So, pardon me, I'm trying to clear my throat, because I have not recovered. We literally spent the whole entire game yelling.
Yeah.
It was an interesting game, right? It was a very, very solid defensive battle the entire game. The one thing that San Antonio can take credit for is that they pretty much kept a underrated offense to 9 points up until that last touchdown, right? And that's when things kind of started getting a little bit out of hand. But even then, we weren't completely out of the game. It wasn't until that, the 30 seconds where they tried to do the hook and ladder.
Yeah.
Where it was like, dude, what are you doing? Okay. But everybody looked off a little bit.
Dude, that's what, Dormady was throwing high. He was off. I mean, everybody was slipping. Like the field just seemed wet. Like they weren't, I don't know if the equipment people, if they didn't have any longer cleats to change out or what, but it's just like they couldn't get their footing. That Kirkland dropped a pass, and how often do we see that? It's just everything looked off. The only thing that looked good was the run game, and love it. They couldn't stop them. So I know we talked a little bit about that. That was probably kind of by design for DC. Kind of stop the pass game, but give up the run game. But I mean, even they were, the run blocking was great. They showed it during the broadcast a bunch of times, how they were, blocking and stuff and coming in to see where the rush was coming from. And it was a great job run blocking. Just unfortunately the pass game wasn't there. It was off. Like there's no other way to say it. Like just something wasn't, wasn't meshing with the Dormady and the receivers.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back and you look at the stats, because again, we're not, so big and so focused on the X's and O's necessarily, but it is important to talk about. Lovett, 23 rushes, 153 yards. Let's compare that to all of DC, who had 31 rushes between 5 different rushers and only got 115 yards.
That 153 yards, that's the highest rushing total by any back this season in the UFL. So
yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Dormady rolled out for 30 himself, and then Ellison got 17. Our rush game was on point. Our quarterback game was, I don't know, man. I mean, their defenders were on our folks. Yeah. And I will say, we've complained about what's up, Dirty Toro? Havo. Yeah. So towards the end of the game, Dormady did hurt one of his hands. We're still not quite sure which one it is. We think it's his throwing hand, but we don't really know. Some of the fans there were like, "Oh man, you better check on your quarterback. I think he broke his arm." It was a mess, because as soon as that trick play started happening, I knew the game was over.
Yeah.
I went and started
that's so
talking to the
dumb
fans.
To run that play with 30 seconds left or whatever it was. You run that when you have one snap left. That's it. Like they could at least try for a couple passes or something down the field and get close to take a shot. But that was ridiculous to do it then. And yeah, absolutely, dude, Rad Wing. Oh, amazing punting. Those beautiful chip shots just hitting and the backspin on them, just dropping there inside the 5. Oh, it was fantastic.
So it was one thing, I'm sure, to watch it on TV, to see it in person and to see that ball backspin and bounce the way that it did and land 1 yard right in front of the end zone. Dude, it was a thing of beauty. I can't even tell you. And then the best part is him and Santoso were talking about it afterwards. Like what Wing did. He was giving him advice on how he kicked that ball and how he was able to spin it. Right. And it was just so funny to hear him because, I mean, literally, again, we were like 20, 30 feet away from those folks. What's up, Rig? We're going to be seeing you real soon, sir. But yeah, it was an incredible game. Latimer had a great game, all things considered, but it's just that the passing game just was not there, man. And I cannot.
Yeah, it was all short passes. I mean, I
don't even remember him seeing going deep. I don't remember him trying to go deep on a single pass.
The only deep pass I remember is the one that, there was one that Kirkland dropped, and there was another one that Kirkland slipped on. Those are the only 2 deep passes that I remember.
Okay. And that interception that Dermody threw, I mean, which was like real early in the game.
Oh yeah, for the first drive, yeah. But that was even one. That wasn't a deep pass. That was 15 yards down.
Yeah, that was in the flats, man, and he got destroyed. He just got red. So I'm hopeful that if he was kind of having an off game, because I mean it happens, right?
Yeah.
That he's able to tune it up, or this next week, one of these other cats that we got can maybe take the helm, right? So, but overall, it was a pretty good game.
All right, we're not going to have too much of a struggle this weekend, so.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I want to make sure that we talk about that, because while we're saying that it's not going to be too much of a struggle.
I'm just giving Rig crap.
Yeah,
since he's hanging out here.
If we don't take this game seriously, we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Okay? Oh, absolutely.
Because we have second place locked down, but we're only ahead by a game, and
we don't have a tiebreaker. Head-to-head tiebreaker, because now we're 1-1 with DC. So now it's going to fall into the conference wins, the total, points against, all that crap that was Seattle and St. Louis last year. We're going to have to go look at all the tiebreakers. So, if we end up with the same record. So absolutely. I mean, Brahmas need to win out. So,
yeah.
I mean, I know DC's got a couple, couple games against some tough teams coming up still. So they may drop one, but we don't, you don't want to rely on somebody else to lose a game in order to get into the playoffs. So we need to get with it and win out.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough, man. So we've got to make sure that we keep the hammer or the foot on the throttle. We've got to blow through everybody that we're playing against, and St. Louis has to lose at least one, and DC has to lose at least one.
Yeah.
If St. Louis loses one before we get to them at the end of the season, that's going to give us a better shot at least making the postseason, right? Hopefully taking the lead in the division. We got to see what happens, though. If we can beat them at home, and they lose another one, then we definitely will take over the division and we'll be division champs. And then, everything comes back through.
I will say, I didn't even think about it. Jorge mentioned it last night, but unless we obviously win our division, but if we make it to the championship game, we will play in St. Louis 3 straight weeks.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy.
It's going to be rough. Although, have they figured out where the divisional games are going to be at yet?
Well, it's going to be at the home. They're going to be, the home team, whoever.
Well, But if we can overtake St. Louis, then we'll be coming
then
back.
Then we'll have it. That's what I'm saying. Like if St. Louis keeps winning, if they stay first place, and we get in the playoffs.
Yeah, we got to knock them out. So looking back at the schedule, right? We're just finished up. Where are we at? We just finished up week 6.
Rick wants us to hold off on getting going. He wants us to give him a week.
Rig, I'm sorry. You're going to have to get your win somewhere else, man.
Exactly. Too bad you can't play Arlington every week.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be a huge weekend for us, not just because, we have to win this game and gain some ground on St. Louis, but St. Louis is also playing Birmingham, right? And that's going to be a big test right there.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out.
Teams, that's a see where you're at game,
Yeah.
So
I don't think Birmingham is going to have the problems with St. Louis that everybody thinks that they will. Simply because if you look at St. Louis, they struggled with Michigan. And I'm not saying Michigan is an absolute horrible team, but we buried them, Yeah,
but that was also the first game. I mean, you that's
was second, but
no, St. Louis lost to Michigan the first game.
Oh yeah. But that's still.
But you kind of throw that first game away because it is, the team's still trying to find out about each other and kind of gel. So
okay, but St. Louis has struggled in several games.
They have.
So I don't think St. Louis is. I think they're the luckiest team in the UFL. I don't think they're as good as what their record says, though.
I would say that about Birmingham because the only team they've really played that is been DC, and they kind of got lucky with that one. I mean, not got lucky, but that was a really close game. I mean, they play in a conference where every other team sucks.
That's true. That's true.
Michigan is not a good team, and they're second place. So
yeah. So, going into week 7, right? Big game. St. Louis and Birmingham. We've got the Roughnecks. Week 8, we've got Renegades at home. St. Louis is going to have the Defenders in St. Louis, right? And DC is going to be walking around with a chip on their shoulders. They've got something to prove.
St. Louis curb stomped them last time, so
right,
they're going to be looking for some revenge.
And if you look at their week 7 game, they're playing Michigan Panthers, right? So there's a chance, right? They're knocking on the door. They're breathing within breathing room of second place. Yeah. So we have got to win out. So then week 9, St. Louis has a cakewalk in Arlington, and that's when we're playing Birmingham.
DC's got one in Memphis. So
potentially. Memphis can be sneaky. Okay.
You know what? I thought that earlier in the season, but they've fallen off the rails, it seems like. So
yeah, but we struggled with them. Okay. And there's no excuse for that.
Well, that was before I think we knocked them off the rails. They haven't been the same since that game.
Here's the Cowboys fan statement for you. They're oh, right here, we'll share Riggs' comment, right? Yeah. So this is important, guys. Any of you super fans that are going to Houston for that game, please make sure that you find where Rig is and get pictures with his little buddy. You'll see it in his profile picture. That young man just wants pictures with all the super fans, and Rig has a whole post about it on his Facebook page. So make sure you go check that out. But definitely try and find him. Get pictures with this little man. Let's make his day.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
And maybe take a picture with Rig, but don't get too close to him.
Maybe.
Yeah, just don't get too close to him. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, right. So we've got some really tough games coming up. Oh, and hey, this guy right here. Where is he? Not that one. Hit him up if you need to. This guy right here, right? We're in negotiations to get some stuff made. Oh. If you're looking for some custom merch, not that I'm promoting or anything like that. I'm not saying that you want to do that, but if, for example, you wanted to get maybe a custom helmet made or something like that, reach out to this guy. He's doing some work for some people that we know, and it's going to be incredible work.
Looks really good.
Yes. So, and which game is this that you're planning on making? The Birmingham game? So let us know which game you're planning on hitting up. But anyways, yeah, lots of interesting football. This is kind of like what happened last year, right? In the XFL playoffs, things kind of came down to the last 2-3 weeks, right? And so things are going to get dicey. Things are going to get interesting. And so San Antonio has to keep the throttle down. They've got to win out for the rest of the season. That's why losing this game this week was so crucial. Oh, bet, let's go. We'll see you at the Houston game for sure. We'll be there. Okay. But we've got to win this game. Okay. We've got to make sure that we win against Houston, and then we win against Arlington, which we should. But then we've got to win against Birmingham. Like, we cannot take that chance, and we've got to go into St. Louis with a full head of steam.
These next 2 weeks against Houston, against Arlington, they have to be our get right games. That way, yeah, like you said. I mean, just so we're humming when we go, because the 2 toughest teams in the league are our last 2 weeks of the season.
Yes. So, yeah. And it's just unfortunate that it worked out that way. But hey, man,
you know what?
Welcome to playoff football.
You want to be a winning team. You want to be playing your best at the end of the season. So, what better way to play your best than to face the best?
Yep. Just ask DC.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of getting right, when's the AFL going to get right, Brian?
It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Why is that, sir?
They're an absolute mess. I mean, there's obviously, we talked about it last week with the teams that had like the cattle barriers with super thin pads on them, fields that weren't in shape. Teams getting canceled, schedules getting changed, and it's that's not bad enough. It's just gone down hill from there. There's reports of like teams are folding, teams are canceling games. It's just there's a lot of speculation, but it's none of it looks good.
Yeah,
it's just it's absolute train wreck.
Yeah,
but I'm here for it. So
definitely shout out to our friends at Pro Arena Talk. They've been sharing a lot of the information with us. Not sure. I mean, they have inside sources that we don't know. And they're not necessarily quoting those sources yet, so we're not going too far with everything. But we are talking about the things that you can find out in public. Like, for example, the West Texas Desert Hawks, which were the West Texas Warbirds last season in the NAL, off to a great start this year. 2 games in, 2 wins, right? They just beat the Predators 30-14. However, there is a lawsuit going on with the National Arena League against the West Texas Desert Hawks because of breach of contract. Those are things you can find on the internet. It's not speculation. Now, what's going to happen with it, we don't know. There's, talks that, the West Texas Desert Hawks owner has come out and said that there was nothing that was signed committing West Texas to the National Arena League until 2025, I believe, or 26.
Yeah, and it's not sources, whatever. Like, he put out a statement like on social media saying, "Hey, I never signed anything. They don't have anything with my signature on it. All this stuff." So I mean, that's for people who are paid way more than us to determine. We're just kind of reporting what is out there.
What we can find.
A suit's been filed, and they're
it's bad.
Yeah. Well, the allegations are bad, and the Desert Hawks are they're gonna fight it apparently. So we'll see what all shakes out, but it's just
I do feel bad for them though, that they're off to an incredible start, and the league that they chose to join is falling apart around them.
Yeah.
So some other news that we kind of talked about. We talked about the Minnesota Myth and the Philadelphia Soul game where Philadelphia didn't even show up. They had to pull in an AFL,
AAFL2 league from Dallas.
Yeah, and it was an absolute blowout. It wasn't even a game for them.
Yeah.
We also some other things that I've been finding. For example, the they're the Louisiana Voodoo, but they were supposed to be the New Orleans Voodoo, and then they were going to become
Lake Charles.
Lake
Voodoo,
Charles.
they're going to play in Lake Charles, but they couldn't get the arena settled, and
right. And then so they became what the heck is Shreveport? But then they canceled all those games. Like these are all things you can find on the internet. So the AFL is,
and I mean, and I all the teams like the league itself. Originally it was going to be aired on the NFL. Some of the games are going to be aired on the NFL Network. Mm-hmm. The kickoff games in that first weekend, and basically what happened was the league didn't pay for some of the rights, and so the NFL Network took them off the schedule. And then I think kind of saw writing on the wall of what's been going on with everything else. And they're like, you know what? We don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah, so, we don't want this.
Yeah.
Right. And
they apparently they terminated the agreement completely. So it's a mess. It's, I know we talked about, obviously how big fans we are of the classic AFL, how much we love those games, and we want it to be back to its former glory.
It's not going to happen.
This iteration is not going to be it.
Yeah, and then there's even speculation that people are going after the owner or owners of the AFL,
the commissioner. Like there's a lot. Several of the teams have called for the commissioner to resign or be removed. So it's bad. It's a mess.
Yeah. So all we can really say is, thoughts and prayers are, out for the players and the teams and stuff. And hopefully they can find some way to resolve this and still take care of the players, because they're the ones that are really breaking their back to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of breaking backs though, looks like San Antonio got their back broken this weekend. Not very much, but kind of a disappointing loss at home against the Frisco Fighters. And this is coming off, this is on the tails of a win in Frisco, right? And that was a nail biter of a game. That easily should have been game of the week. And again, shout out to our friends at Pro Arena Talk. I know that they put this up as one of the games of the week that everybody was voting on. I don't think it got it though. But this next game, Frisco at San Antonio, this one probably wasn't. I mean, it was a good game, but I don't know that I'd call it game of the week. But
it was, and it was, I thought it was kind of back and forth early in the game, and then kind of in the third, Frisco got the lead and pretty much had it the entire third quarter. San Antonio kept it close, but they couldn't quite get over that hump, So it, Frisco played great, and they had a tough loss last week against the Gunslingers, so they bounced back. They kind of did what you would expect a really good team to do. So
yeah, well, it didn't help that Castronova threw a pick with 50 seconds left, right?
Yeah.
Which I know that absolutely kind of just crushed the team right there. So yeah, San Antonio dropped one. And then going to where are we at? Standings, regular season standings. Frisco goes to 5-1, and San Antonio drops to 2-4. Now they're not completely out of the mix because it's a 17-week season, right? But they've got their work cut out for them, so they are going to have to pick themselves up by the bootstraps and really figure out what the heck's going on. So going into this next weekend. We've got some pretty good games. Frisco's got Jacksonville Sharks at Frisco. That should not be that hard of a game for them. But San Antonio is going to have the Duke City Gladiators in Duke City. Now, Duke City, we've known from the past that Duke City has been a pretty decent competitor. And this year, you're looking at
this year not so much.
Okay,
they're 0-5 this year. So
okay. So that could
we don't want to be the team that gets them to get their first win.
Right.
So,
but this could be the confidence builder, right?
Yeah.
This could help them, be that game where they kind of, figure out what the heck's not working. and get it turned around and start getting back on the winning track. So, I mean, they could easily be 3-4 after this weekend, which could put them back on the right track here. But yeah, again, a little bit rough for San Antonio this weekend, just across the board with, Gunslingers losing, with the Brahmas losing, and, just seeing some of those teams that we didn't want to win out there. So, but it happens. It happens, right?
Absolutely.
Jorge would say it was still a great weekend because we had a great time in Audi Field. The fans absolutely were just perfect. They were great to us. Definitely on the same level as our friends in Arlington over here. And then he got to do his little Stephen A. Smith video because Arlington lost, which I'm so glad I didn't have to.
That was we haven't even talked about the rest of the UFL games.
Well, we'll circle back to that.
That was Arlington just being Arlington. I mean, they took the lead, and then you give up a freaking kick return to the 35 or 40, already in field goal range because, Bates can kick it from damn near 60 yards. But you know what? That kick return wasn't enough. You just have to, grab the guy's face mask on the tackle, move him up another 15 yards.
Yeah, so why not?
That was Arlington, just Arlingtoning all over the place.
Yeah, but didn't we also do the same thing? So we had some penalties that were just stupid penalties.
Yeah, but not that stupid.
That's true. So that's what's going on in the IFL, which IFL right now seems to be the gold standard for indoor football. What is up? That's Mr. Predator right there. What's happening, baby? Can't wait to come hang out with you this weekend. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And you know what? I'm actually glad we're segueing into that right now. I'm actually looking forward to meeting some of the other super fans in Houston because really I know the Predator couple and I know Rig. And then, of course, we know, there's a couple of other ones that we know there as well.
Yeah, we met a few when we were up there for the fundraiser and stuff like that,
Yes.
So,
but apparently they have a few more.
Definitely want to meet more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say that we did take away as a win from this DC game was that at the end of the day, we're all just fans, right? We love our team, but we love the fact that we have this league, and we love the fact that we can talk trash to people and then hang out and drink beer at the end and, in the beginning and during and just have a good time.
The day before, the day after,
not so much the day after.
The 5 days leading up to it. So
yeah. The day after I needed a little bit of rest. One thing though, that, me, how warm and friendly my personality is. And so where we were sitting, there's an upper deck and there was a Brahmas fan up there. And so he and I are, kind of, egging each other on and getting each other pumped up and everything. I was doing the, what down is it, like that whole thing and whatever. Well, some of the other people around there didn't like that so much. And so they started kind of, hurling insults and stuff. And there were some kids that were getting into it and everything also. Right. I alluded to this at the beginning of the show. So me, I mean, I'm taking my jabs back and forth. I'm not making anything personal. I'm just like, hey, you guys are such a great team. Look, there's still time on the board and this still is a winnable game and, stuff like that. Right. And, so they're like, doing the whole putting the baby to bed thing. And I'm like, okay, I mean, there's, 8 minutes left on the board and you guys are bumping gums. Like, you're going to be really sad when we score a touchdown and you lose. But so we did some jaw jacking and everything. And when that crazy play happened, I immediately was like, okay. So I walked over to the railing because there's the suspension wires in posts there. Pardon me. And so I climbed halfway up and just started shaking people's hands. And I was like, hey, you know what? Good game. We didn't, we got outplayed. And that last play, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. So, congratulations, you guys won. The funny thing, though, was by doing that one step and going and shaking everybody's hands and saying congratulations, completely diffused any tension that was there whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they did not know what to do. They were like, oh, thanks. And that was it. Like they completely diffused the whole situation, took them out of their element, and just completely demolished them. Real quick, I want to show this. Hector, we definitely need to come down and check out a Tritons game. And depending on how our season goes, we have talked about, we've gone to a Gunslingers game already. We've potentially talked about coming to some more, but specifically, we would love to.
It looks like the only home game they've got is June 2nd, and we'll be
June 2nd. We won't be able to be there.
We'll be up in St. Louis. So maybe maybe a playoff game or something. We can go check one of those out. But
what's up, RC? Hey, RC. How you doing?
So you know what? I haven't even asked you yet. So in our chat or anything like that, did you say hi to our friend?
No, I could not. And I actually asked the referees and I asked some of the players to get a hold of Bellamy for me and let them know that I said hi and what time it was. But the problem is we were on the visitor side.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be on the home side. But our ticket rep, James, said that probably wasn't such a good idea. So he kept me under control over on the visitor side. I don't even know where he sat, right? He sat somewhere.
He's not far away from you, crazy bastards.
Yeah, not with us. But as soon as I'm telling you, man, as soon as we got there, we unfurled the flag and then just unleashed hell, man.
Nice.
Did not stop yelling.
You know what? That's how it is.
Oh, and you'll love this. We found a guy there. He became our new blue. The old white guy working security, and we started calling him Blue because he was just the same guy. And then there was another security person that we'd start getting rowdy and whatever, and she'd look at us and kind of give us that side eye, and I'd point at her and smile, and I'd give her the whole, be like, "Yeah, what's up? I see you," and then she moved. So I think we were either too much for her or we creeped her out and she left. But either way,
you know what? I'm thinking it was probably creeped her out a little bit.
Yeah, probably a lot. But yeah, I mean, it was an absolute blast, and hanging out with like Captain Obvious and Doug the Defender and all the other cats that are over there, man. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Those are good people, man.
Yeah,
and obviously, everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody saw y'all's video with the Defender.
We actually filmed that at the hotel that we were at. So little behind the scenes stuff.
That was fantastic. So
yeah, it was good stuff, and it was all Doug's idea, man. So great stuff. But yeah, back to Corpus. Corpus is still crushing it. I don't.
Yeah, they beat Amarillo this week. I think I went away from the page, but I think they beat them by like 14 or something.
Yeah, it was 48-34. So. So 14, which I'm kind of surprised that game was that close because they've played before and it was not that close, right? They played at least once before now. They had that default game.
I know the first game. I think they played the first game together, and it was.
Wasn't it Amarillo that had the default game?
No. That was Mississippi. That was when Mississippi.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
No, first time Corpus and Amarillo played,
76.
Corpus beat them 76-50.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a huge score. That's more like what we're used to seeing in these indoor football games. Yeah. So lots of offense, lots of scoring opportunities, and this game kind of surprised me. But that's okay. So they should have another one coming up.
I think they play in Amarillo the next game.
Yeah. So yes, and Hector, you're right. They are at a crash course with Columbus.
We've talked about that before, man. That pretty much seems like the only two really, really good teams in the league. So it's just kind of that'll be your championship game right there. So
yeah, because the next closest team is Harrisburg, and they're at 1-2, right? So it's like everybody's Columbus and Corpus are beating up on everybody, getting ready for their championship game because that's who it's going to be. So, but yeah, if we can, I don't know that we're going to be able to pull it off, but I would love to go down there and see a game in the American Bank Center. That would be a lot of fun. So, okay, we've pretty much covered everything the demise of the AFL and West Texas action and everything, let's go back and talk about our pick'ems, where we're at with our pick'ems this week.
Yeah.
And then
so you went 2-2 this week, and I went 3-1.
Okay.
Obviously we both picked the Brahmas, and then you picked Arlington to get their first win. I picked Michigan. You were close.
I was close.
You were close, but Arlington.
Yeah.
I need to put together what our totals are for the year. I haven't I don't have that written down yet. So I need to actually do that so we can keep a running total.
Yeah. That would be important. Hang on, let me mute. I'll be right back.
All right. So this week coming up, we talked a little bit about kind of some of the games that are going on. Obviously, the big one's going to be St. Louis and Birmingham. San Antonio's playing in Houston. Arlington and Memphis, that's a good chance for Arlington to get their first win. And then obviously DC against Michigan. Michigan, as good as their record is DC bouncing back from kind of, potentially going off the rails a couple weeks ago and then playing an awesome game against us. So, so actually quite a few really good games this week.
Yeah.
So
that Michigan DC game, the crowd is going to definitely have an impact on that game, especially after having won against San Antonio this last week. If they can get the crowd there and they can get them pumped up, that should be DC's game. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but the team doesn't necessarily always feed off the energy of the crowd. But if the crowd shows up, if they're getting rowdy like they normally are, it is going to have a significant impact on the morale of the team. Just like we thought us showing up would have a huge impact on the Brahmas, and they were extremely grateful. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't enough. It didn't get the job.
Well, I mean, you can't, us cheering in the stands aren't going to do anything for missed passes and overthrows. So, it's not like you can yell the passes to be accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as you want to, you can't will those.
Yeah,
pardon me. You can't will those things into existence.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm choking to death. Spit going down the wrong.
Well, wait till after the show to do that, dude. Come on, man. Although you know what, that would be some pretty good ratings. So
no. We've already had one person get hurt on the show. We're not doing that.
That wasn't this show though. So
it wasn't this show, but we're good with the record that we have.
Yeah.
We 0 reported accidents. We're going to keep it that way, OSHA. So yeah, looking at week 7, obviously I'm picking Memphis over Arlington.
Okay. I'm going to pick Arlington. I'm going to pick Arlington to get their first win this week.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think they'll find a way to mess it up because they're going for that perfect defeated season this year.
Yeah, perfect defeated season.
Yes.
St. Louis and Birmingham.
I've got Birmingham.
Really?
I think Birmingham's going to crush St. Louis. First of all, they're at home. Second of all, I think St. Louis is overrated. So I think, and as much as, you St. Louis fans want to, take jabs at me already because I can already feel it coming. You guys know, like, you struggled with Michigan. You struggled with several teams that you should not have struggled with. If you guys are really that good, I mean, yeah, Hakeem is back in now, and it's going to make a difference. But if you guys are really that good, you shouldn't have struggled as much as you did. And you struggled, and you're going to find out just how great Birmingham's defense is this weekend when McCarron throws at least 1 pick, probably 2, and that's what's going to kill them. Yep.
Man, I'm on the fence about this game, dude.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to watching it.
It's going to be an incredible game,
man. I'm gonna go Birmingham.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Birmingham for the win.
Okay. Michigan Panthers, DC Defenders. Like I said, that one for me, I'm on the fence about because it's going to matter about the home field advantage, right? We were the 5 or 6 of us that were there, including, you know, the players, families and stuff like that. But you know, you've got the bulls on parade, as we're being called, actually being there and making noise. And I know you could hear us on TV. Okay. I know you could hear us. I haven't even gone back and watched the game yet, and I know you could hear us. Because especially when the cameraman would go by, we would get all kinds of crazy, right? So they had their own Chapman, right? And we were razzing him, of course. Well, the whole crew. But that home field advantage is going to make a difference, right? Because Michigan is not a team to be taken lightly necessarily either. They've proven that you know, they can trade punches with some of the best of them. Now maybe they can't hang all 4 rounds, but they can definitely trade punches.
They needed a 50-yard kick return and a face mask penalty to beat Arlington. So, you know, I'm picking DC because I don't think Michigan is as good as their record says they are.
Okay.
You know, they're not a bad team. They're not, you know, Arlington. They're not, fortunately, Houston. They're not Memphis. But I think they're, you know, after those, they're the next lowest team. So I'm taking DC in that game.
Okay. And then final game, obviously.
You didn't make your pick yet.
As much as I don't want to say it, I think DC walks out with a tight win. I think they're gonna pull it off. Just watching some of the stuff that Tamu was able to do in the face of adversity, because I mean our defense is strong. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't think Michigan's defense is that strong. So I think
they've got a good defense, but they're, you know, not better than ours.
Yeah. So I think DC is getting the win. And then of course San Antonio is beating Houston.
Yeah.
So
same.
So that's kind of where we're at for this weekend. So
I think our only difference is you got Memphis, I got Arlington.
Yeah.
So
the rest of it, we'll let it ride. We'll see what happens. Real quick, in NFL, I've heard that Cowboys are pursuing a certain running back, or wanting to.
Potentially, yes. Looking to reports, you know, whatever, you know, reports where Cowboys were interested in Derrick Henry before that, and they never even called the guy. So, you know, take it for what you want. But, you know, Najee Harris is not happy in Pittsburgh. Reportedly, Cowboys are interested in making a trade for him. I'd like it. I like Najee. He had a really bad season last year. I know because I had him on my fantasy team. It took him a few weeks to get going. I mean, you know, I think he ended up decent, but he struggled quite a bit. But I think that was a lot more of the team than the player. You know what? Dude, I'll take him. Now, they better not give up anything, you know, earlier than like a 5th round pick for the guy. But, you know, I'd definitely be interested if he came on.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see.
And also, did you see their they announced the NFL announced that they're going to be announcing the schedule May 15th. So
I saw that announcement.
The schedule drop is coming next week. So
yeah, that was really interesting.
They announced the announcement's coming.
Yeah.
It's like when you see those the big, like the Marvel movies and stuff like that, when they show the little 10-second teaser trailer and say, "Hey, the trailer's going to be released. Here's a trailer for the trailer."
Yeah.
So,
and then you also saw back-to-back MVP quarterback Alex Magoo is deciding to switch over to wide receiver for the Packers.
That's right. For your Green Bay Packers, what do you think about that?
It's a pretty interesting choice, man. I mean, I guess, you know, if you want to get playing time, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what his speed is.
Exactly. I obviously I didn't watch the USFL, the Birmingham team last year enough to know how fast he is, how well he cuts and stuff like that. Because obviously that's kind of a big part of being a receiver. You know, who knows?
Okay, I'm trying to look up his stats. He went from quarterback to now listed as wide receiver with the player number 2. So they've already bumped his numbers. Trying to see if I can find out where he's at, like stats wise.
Oh,
if they even have any stats.
I mean,
for
I
him.
doubt they're. I don't even know where he played for college, but I mean, you would doubt he has any kind of receiving stats. You know,
he has no stats whatsoever, no professional stats. He's never played a game in the NFL, but he was a backup quarterback for Seattle and then now Green Bay. So we'll see how that all breaks down.
You know, we've seen it quite a few times. You know, quarterbacks going to NFL and changing. I know I would. You know, obviously I'm a big Aggie fan, so Reggie McNeil did that when he got drafted for Cincinnati. Who was the Nebraska quarterback? He won the Heisman, and then oh shoot, I can't think of his name, but like he changed position. He played for Nebraska, won the Heisman back in like 2000, 2001, 2, like that, and then got drafted as a wide receiver. I can't think of that cat's name.
I can't remember. Hey, real quick, just to let you know, Magoo's 40-yard is a 4.7. So that's
maybe he's not going to be the maybe he'll be a slot receiver, not the
he's going to have to be
not the guy streaking down the sidelines, you know?
Yeah. 4.7 he's going to have to be. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Which is absolutely stupid. The fastest guy was like 4.2. Like we're acting like half a second is, you know, like he's a bum. But I mean, NFL numbers, you know, you kind of are if you're wanting to be a receiver and you're running 4.7. So
yeah,
it's just crazy that, you know, how you know athletic these guys are.
Yeah, that half a second can make that big of a difference. Yeah. So, anyways, okay, so lots of football going on this weekend. Lots of very important games are going to be happening this weekend. Obviously, San Antonio Gunslingers are going to be playing. We're going to keep an eye on that, see how if they can turn their season around. We're keeping an eye on Frisco to see what they're going to do. Hopefully, West Texas can continue to keep their streak going for as long as they can.
Hopefully everything kind of rules in their favor. I mean, not just in the, you know, with their legal battle, but also the league that they're playing in. You know.
So, and I mean, hopefully, if nothing else, if maybe they can make some kind of a peaceful resolution with NAL, and then when the AFL folds, they can just move back over, right? And then continue.
Hey, just ways. Kidding, guys.
Yeah. See what happened was. So, but yeah, lots of football. So make sure that you're watching this weekend. There's going to be so much going on. We're obviously going to be doing a Houston takeover. The Bulls on Parade will be storming Rice Field, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really interesting. So if you're in the area, make sure that you're making it to the games. If not, make sure you've got it tuned on.
Yeah.
You're going to one of the local sports bars that we have an affiliation with. I'm trying to remember the one on Henderson Pass. It is
talking about Fiascos.
Yes, Fiascos. That's
right. Yeah, right on Thousand Oaks, right by Henderson Pass. Obviously, 151 area. Bombshells had a big watch party this past weekend. Twin Peaks is one of the, you know, another one of the beer club sponsors or whatever for the team. They got the games. You know, I think I said it last week. Whatever. You know, go there or go to your own place and ask them to put the game on. You know, that's a great way to kind of introduce new people to this team. We're still, you know, we need new fans.
Yep, we need more people in the dome.
Let's get as many people kind of invested and into this league as possible, into this team.
Yes, so we really would like to
turn a bar full of people into fans, and you know they'll come show up the next week and see what it's about at home.
Yep, we'd really love to see 25,000 the week that we play Arlington. That's up to you guys. Help us out. Let your friends and family know. Bring some people. as Moose Johnson said, just give them one game. One game. Try one game out and see what you think.
And then, I think, mentioned too, it was started off today, but Pete's Taco House. There's a promotion going on for Taco Tuesdays from 11 to noon. I think the first 50 people that come in the door, they get 2 free tacos and a free Brahma shirt. They've got $10 tickets, and the tickets are all day long. So you can go to Pete's Taco House. Really good tacos. It's a great restaurant. And get some $10 tickets. So it's on Tuesdays.
100% worth it.
Absolutely,
totally worth it.
Absolutely.
So, all right. I think that pretty much wraps the show up for today. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate the comments. Everybody popping in. Houston, be ready. San Antonio loves to travel. And we're going to be trying to bring as many people as we can. And we're going to try and turn that into a home game. So no offense to you guys or anything, but we got to win this game. And so we're coming in with that attitude. This is a must-win situation from here.
We love you guys, but we're going to take over your stadium, basically.
Yes, 100%. So, real quick, looks like we got an update from our friends over at Pro Arena Talk.
521 for West Texas. The K-State is, I guess that's the next big date for them. So it's going to be open until 521.
Yeah.
So, I guess West Texas is going to be playing at least until then. Maybe in those 3 weeks there will be a resolution.
Yep. So we'll fingers crossed. Hopefully they get that figured out. But in the meantime, guys, make sure you've got your eyes tuned to the TV or your butt at the game. Let's cheer on our Brahmas. Let's cheer on our gunslingers. Let's cheer on the West Texas Warbirds. This is Texas, baby. It's all about football. All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. Let's go.